Can you imagine taking everyday objects like paper, plastic bags, VHS tapes, and fashioning them into a dress that you would wear to the fanciest event in town?
It is almost hard to wrap your minds around, and that's why we have Matthew Richmond here. He's a fashion designer from the Detroit area who uses these non-traditional objects. In fact, I have to ask, is this an environmental statement that you're making? Why do you use these objects in this way?
A little bit. It's, you know, a lot of the things that usually get thrown to the basement or just tossed to the curb, I kind of look at it a little bit differently, as in, why waste it? Or, you know, I take it one step further. Before recycling it, I upcycle it and turn it into something you would probably never even imagine. So
once you see these, you're just going to be amazed. I see them and I think, gosh, he must have studied this. He must put tons of time in, which I'm sure you do. But you didn't study fashion.
Right.
Give us your history about your own expertise and how you got into it.
Yeah, definitely. I always was interested in fashion. I never kind of pursued it, but one day I was just kind of bored, I guess you can say, and I had a bust form in my first apartment, and it was just there for decoration. And one day I just grabbed some paper and tape and just kind of went at it and started draping it.
Okay, the dress in this picture is made out of what?
This one particular is made out of old service menus and tissue paper.
It's amazing.
Man,
it's a confection. I mean, you think of like layers and ruffles and the couture look.
Right.
And they're really some basic things that some might even throw away.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow, what a contrast there. We have one of your models here. Why don't you tell us about this dress and what went into it?
Yeah, definitely. This is, like I said, VHS tape. You know, these are probably sitting in a big box in your basement right now. And I literally was pulling them out of my basement box and unraveling them and putting this together. So this is, I call it the VHS dress.
So you don't know what movie this is in, like
Gorgeous.
Back to the Future?
This is Twister, actually. It's the first movie to ever be put onto a DVD digitally, and it's the first movie now to ever be fashioned.
Isn't that great? That, you know, it's super ironic there. So do you get inspired? Do you think of a design in your mind, or do you look at an object and think, boy, that would make a beautiful dress that looks like this?
You know, it really, sometimes I sketch and sometimes I just kind of create it. It really just depends on my mood, I guess.
That's wonderful. Okay, so we have another here. We don't want to leave the guys out. You do mostly women's fashion.
Right.
But this is cool.
I had a friend of mine, her mother gave me a huge stack of National Geographics dated back to like 1958. And so I was inspired to do a jacket, and this is my National Geographic jacket.
The colors are great, and then it's historic too. I mean, I can imagine wearing this to a party, and people would not leave you alone just looking at the detail on your jacket.
Right.
What is the reaction?
Oh, you know, people want to come up and instantly touch it, and you know, what is it made out of? How did you do that? You know, you get everything, every question you can think of.
So do you do a form and then put the print or whatever the materials on top of the form, or how does that work? Because that looked like a jacket that was actually exactly the form.
Right, exactly. You know, a lot of it I start from scratch. So I'll have a bust form, and instead of muslin, I would use like plastic, for instance, because you wouldn't want to attach paper to fabric, because if you sweat through it, you'll ruin the paper.
Right.
So.
That makes sense. Okay, so we want to thank you because you did come really early this morning to get the models in their outfits.
Oh, yeah.
And you can maybe describe it a little bit here. You've got this gorgeous dress with our next model, but you, obviously, you're not sewing here, so how are you getting these pieces onto the models?
Right, they are actually completely taped and glued together. I don't sew. I've never had any formal training in, you know, fashion and construction, so I just kind of tape and sew as I go. I'm sorry, tape and glue.
Tape and glue as you go.
Yeah.
So tell us about the level of media exposure. When people see this and you're in the Detroit marketplace, do you get a lot of interest from nationally known organizations wanting to feature these?
Yeah, a few here and there, definitely. A lot of people are interested in it for marketing purposes. You know, I've had a lot of local restaurants or just random, you know, businesses who'd want to market themselves more of like an out-of-the-box kind of thing.
Okay.
So,
and here's a great example, because these are grocery store plastic bags.
Right.
And it has a name on them. And I think you've hit on something there because the whole marketing plus your expertise in fashion. It's awesome. Tell us about this and how you were able to put this one together.
This is my like Kroger ball gown, basically. This one definitely gets a lot of attention. It is an attention getter. You know, if you were like 20 feet from her as she's standing there, you would never guess she's wearing plastic.
Right.
And then once you get closer, you're like, wait a minute, that is plastic bags. So a lot of people are confused, and then they're really excited once they see it come together like that. But yeah, this is just completely constructed through tape and glue.
It is amazing. So can you copyright or trademark the idea? What's to prevent other designers from taking your concept and running with it?
There's actually I can't actually copyright it. You know, design. I've actually had things, you know, people have mimicked some of my stuff before, but it's, you know, I'm flattered. You know, that's great. And you know, paper fashion has been around since the 1960s. Before it's been mass produced by Hallmark and Campbell Soup at one point.
Wow,
so
interesting.
It's really interesting, and I never knew that until I started doing it and started researching it. And then I'm like, wow, you know, this is pretty cool.
Oh, that is really cool. Okay, so you're at the Paper Dress, thepaperdress.com.
Thepaperdresscode.com.
We're going to actually put that online, then we're going to give Matt's number too if you're interested in talking to him about some fashions. Thanks so much for coming and sharing your beautiful fashion with us.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
Talented guy.
We'll be right back.
This is 8 West.